Bilal with another smart profit maximizing moment. Sorry about the delay. We're a minute or two late. It's tax season. People drop in. Um, Today we're going to talk about the power of the 80-20 rule and how you can use it to massively increase profits. I'm going to give you some examples of what we did. What is the 80-20 rule? It used to be called the Pareto's principle. If you happen to have, I don't know exactly what's going on. Hold on a second. It's this one here. All right, the 90-day profit reset. I cover this a little bit on page 65. Where's your focus? And I want to talk about this a little bit, okay? Because it's more powerful than you think. I'm going to give you some examples. 80-20 rule is an Italian monk back in the 1600s who noticed that 80% of his garden, 20% of his garden produced 80% of his crops. And he started looking at it and realizing that this worked. And we see this in the real world all the time. We see it in business dramatically, okay? I see it all the time. Look at your customers. 20% of your customers are going to bring you 80% of your profits. I'll be honest with you, I've seen times where that's 90, 95% of your profits are coming from 10% of your customers. So that's the power of that. Of your products, 20% of your products or less are bringing in 80%, 85%, 90% your cost numbers, all right? Sadly, 20% of your employees are doing 80% of the work. It's true. Or let's be more accurate, 80% of the work that contributes to profits. All right, so how can you use it? Let me go through a couple of drills, all right? Let's talk about myself, first of all right? 2018, got rid of payroll. 2019, got rid of payroll returns, all right? Just outsourced them to somebody else so that we could focus on three things. We focused on doing tax returns, which we're in the middle of tax planning, make decent money on that. Plus, I saved my clients over $5 million in the last 5 years, over $1 million this last year easily. And the rates are lower, so it's trickier to do, all right? And profit coaching, where we're working with our clients, helping them make more money, all right? What has happened? Well, in the first year, my profits dropped, okay? My profits dropped. Let's try that again. My sales dropped by $40,000. My bottom line went up by 80. All right? What happened? Well, first of all, cut my staff in half. I just didn't need them, all right? Second of all, because I wasn't supervising those people and wasn't trying to take care of customers, bookkeeping is the low end of work, all right? It's really lower profit margin. Since I wasn't having to spend time on that, I was able to spend time on the work that my clients want, all right, in order to get more money from that. Now, let's talk about another way to look at it. Restaurants have had a heck of a time during this pandemic, all right? So I have a couple of restaurants, and what we started looking at it was focusing on what plates, what menu items make the most money. And it's a little tricky. I got one of my restaurants to sit down and actually look at plate by plate and price it out and see which ones they were making the most money on. Now, during the pandemic, we're running at 50%. So you can't afford, if you're a restaurant owner, to have everything on the menu because you're going to have spoilage because you're going to have people coming in, less people coming in. Plus, you can't hire the same number of employees. What you end up doing is concentrating on just the things you make the most money on that you can get out quickly with less staff and move it faster and make more money. All right? So that's kind of important if you're looking at it. It's one of those things. What have I seen? I got restaurants that are making more money at 50% capacity than they were at 100% capacity before the COVID-19 mess last March, because they adapted. All right. Give you another example. I got an athletic, somebody who trains baseball players mainly, but he's actually adapted and changed his focus where he was doing more online coaching. It actually increased his profits because he still does the other, in person now, but he was able to add a profit line. If you know what it is you're trying to offer, It's easier to make a profit. Plus, more importantly, it's easier to explain to a customer what it is you do, which, remember, I did one on the key question that you have to be able to answer in your customer's mind all the time. Out of all the choices out there, including doing nothing or doing it myself, why should I pick you? All right, and that's an important question to be able to answer. By focusing, instead of trying to be all things to all people, by sitting down and focusing on what you're talking, on what you're offering. What's the main thing you're offering? What is the main product that solves your customers' problems the best? By focusing on that, it's easier to market that. It's easier to communicate that. I'm going to use myself as an example again, mainly because it's an easy one to show. As a CPA, I can do everything. We do QuickBooks training, we do sales tax audits, we do get loans, all of that. So does almost all other CPAs. They can do all of that. But by focusing on tax planning and by focusing on profit coaching, what we're able to communicate to our customers, and by focusing on the things that bring in the 20% of the work that brings in 80% of the profits, and the 80% of the products that bring in, the 20% of the products that bring in 80% or more of the profits, what we're able to do is market direct. Other CPAs in town that can do that have been trained the same way. We all do good work, pretty much. Here's what we do different. We help you make more money, and we help you keep more of it away from the IRS once you have. Basic. Now, what am I doing? I'm answering the customer's needs. The customer needs and wants to make more money and put more in their pocket. And, as an add-on, I'll usually expand that and say, in a way that you don't have to be a slave to your business. Okay? Now, I gave you the restaurant idea. I gave you the other one. Let me give you another one. I had a coaching tax consultant. Now, let me give you a different one. I had a guy that was doing coaching and consulting. He was in a consulting business. He built his business up to 5-6 million, had 15-16 employees. He was working 7 days a week. He was killing himself. All right? We sat down. He was getting ready to sell the thing. He was just frustrated. It was owning him. The more he sold, the more his expenses went up, the worse he did. We sat down and analyzed his problem. That literally, if he kept, and he expanded that a little bit, took about 20 of them. All right, he took 20 customers with him, sold the other 3,980 to his employees. An ESOP, and they basically, that's another story. That's a tax angle. If you're going to sell your business, get with somebody that knows what they're doing. But basically, he sold it to them. They ran it. Here's the trick. He ran it out of a small office with a secretary, which I didn't think he needed. You could use but that's neither here nor there. And made almost the same amount of money working 2-3 days a week, and not even all year. I mean, it was basically 6 months a year for 6 months out of the year for 2 or 3 days a week. What was he doing? He was focusing on a particular type of customer. I changed mine. Mine is focusing on a particular type of product that I'm willing to offer. He was focusing on his best customers. Now, what he was able to do is get better at it, and he was really picky about who he brought in. He was the high end, so he concentrated on the high end. Let me give you another one. A real estate agent who concentrates on a certain zip code, and that zip code, she knows everything about it. So when you buy a house or selling a house in that zip code, that's who you always try to find a niche. Let me give you another one. All right, bookkeeping services, totally normal. All right, in El Paso, right off the freeway, I-10 goes right through us. A lot of trucks, it's a truck alley. All right, going from the west coast to the east coast and everything in between. She had a building that was right off I-10 and painted in very large black letters that said trucker's bookkeeping. The trucker's bookkeeper. That's all it said. No, let's be honest. Bookkeeping for a trucker, bookkeeper for anybody else, pretty much the same thing. It's basic. It's pretty simple bookkeeping. Yeah, you got a few extra things. You got to do the road taxes and things like that, but it's not anything out of the ordinary. You don't have payroll normally, but sometimes you do. Huge business for her. She outperformed just about every bookkeeping firm in the city and many CPA firms in the city because she focused on one type of product. All right, what am I challenging you to do? Stop trying to be all things to all people. Look at your 80-20. Figure out, get in with your financial statement. If you don't know how to do that, get with your CPA. Schedule some time with me after tax season. Get in my coaching program when we get going in May. I know I said I was going to do it in January. The second round of PPPs wiped me out, so we had to delay it because tax season is here. As long as the government doesn't do and send more work, but I guess I can't turn it away, but I got to help my clients. We'll see what they do. Right now, tentatively, I'm looking at a May launch on the coaching program, which will help identify some of the, where we can sit down. That's one of the main things I do when I'm coaching, is sitting down and trying to identify where's that niche, where's that product, where's that profit, where the highest profit potential can be made without going crazy. So yours is to sit down and look at your 80-20, figure out what's the 80%, where 80% of your profits are coming from. All right. And truthfully, outsourcing, 80%, when I said employees too, figure out which employees are adding to the bottom line and see if you can get rid of the others. I don't mean fire them. Sometimes I do, but, you can do it. There's other people out there that will do a better job because it's their business rather than an employee attitude. This week, which is to sit down, look at the 80-20 rule, and figure it out. Like I said, I covered a little bit more. This is my working copy. This 90-day profit reset. You can find it at Amazon. It's under my name, Wayne Belisle. Go to page 65 and work on it. There's so much stuff in this book. It's almost impossible to get it all there. Hey, until next time, this is Wayne Belisle saying, let's make 2021 our most profitable year ever. Thank you very much. I don't know if I can end it. There we go. Fascinating.